This is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do. A mini tutorial with a vlog style and more behind the scene. I'm going to tell you a longer story about why we moved from our big store in Encinitas back to Cedros.
I remember the very first time I turned the key to open the door to my shop 23 years ago. I told myself, never forget this moment and always be grateful, no matter what. After all, God had moved mountains to give me the keys to my dream shop. It was a tiny 720 square foot cottage on the coast of California in the middle of high-end design district. What I didn't know yet was this dream would cost me. It would become one of the hardest things I had ever tried to do. It would take more than 10 years before I stopped worrying about the rent. I would have given up long ago had it not been for God's grace and lots of help from family and friends. My YouTube videos and DIY paint are what eventually changed things for my business. When the store did finally get easier, it was because of my online platform. It drove sales to the store. The store got easier to manage, but the plumbing no longer worked. The house was 100 years old, and the estimates I got to repair it were up to $20,000. It's challenging to run a business with a porta potty and to wash paintbrushes outside, but that's what we did. Ironically, when the entire world shut down in 2020 and we were forced to close our doors, my business quadrupled. Soon you could not see the floor, and you had to climb over boxes and packing supplies because everybody was stuck at home, and lots of people wanted to paint and DIY. Overnight, my little store became a shipping warehouse, bursting at the seams. Even if we never opened again, the tiny house was too small. I started looking for a bigger space. When I saw the 3,000 square foot building 3 miles away in the heart of Encinitas, it seemed to be an opportunity too good to pass up. Not only was the foot traffic 10 times higher, so was the rent. But there was room for shipping, 2 bathrooms, and a place to host classes. Even so, I was doubtful. I didn't get my hopes up because every time I tried to get a new location, I was outbid by someone who offered more money. In the middle of a pandemic, there was a bidding war for leases in Southern California. This spot was by far better than any of the others I had been outbid on before. The sign had been up for just 2 days and lots of people wanted it. But the landlord thought I was the best fit. I had to decide quickly or let someone else take the space. I remember feeling nauseous. Was this going to be a big mistake? The last thing I wanted was to go back to constant financial worry. But it seemed like God was opening a door, and this was something I had always wanted. When other kids were playing with dolls, I had a cardboard pretend store that I played with. Oh God, please shut the door if this is a mistake. But it did seem like this was where I was supposed to be. So I signed a 3-year lease. When I signed that lease, I told myself I was taking a leap of faith. Sometimes there are no red flags, and things seem to line up divinely. You can tell yourself, God is in this, just have faith. But God also gives us common sense that can easily be ignored. I'm using Jamie Ray stencils and IOD transfers to add to the look of this armoire. You can find these products in the link below. After that, it was a race to get open. There were no free rent days as we got the shop ready. It took 2 months, long days, and lots of help. On opening day, people flew in to support my new shop from all over.
Grand opening, right? Yeah! Why are you gonna make me cry?
This dream is a big dream that I've had for 21 years, but really it's you. My family, my paint retailers, and many of you helped and supported this dream. In the beginning, it seemed like it was all going to be okay. But honestly, I was too tired to ever stop and enjoy what I had built. I was always working, but I always seemed behind. Many things got pushed aside, like making videos, going live, and creating new projects.
Everyone needs a shoulder to cry on. Everyone needs a helping hand. Everyone needs someone to rely on. Yes, everyone needs a friend.
I sat in the parking lot one night looking at the shop, wondering, what had I done to my life? Then it occurred to me that I had made it through the first year, and if I wanted to get out, there were only 20 months left. That was a little spark of hope. Each month got harder, though. I looked at my books, and I could see the writing on the wall. More long days and lots of restless nights. I started to count the days down like a prison sentence. I felt like I was sinking. I decided to rent the back suite of my store to lower my overhead. This helped a little, and by this time, there were only 15 months left. With the back room gone, I didn't have a place to film or paint. My dad, who had worked through all of this, decided to go over to Cedros while I was out of town. In 1 week, he dug up the yard. He found the broken pipe and fixed the plumbing. My 78-year-old dad fixed the plumbing that would have cost me thousands. This gave me a spark of hope and a plan. I started getting up early so I could spend a few hours back at Cedros before I had to open the shop in Encinitas. I got my dad's shop back, and I started to suck up 2 years of dirt and dust. Then I brought my paintbrushes and my camera equipment back to the abandoned house. I had not washed brushes in that sink for more than a decade. Has been covered up for over 10 years. My dad took the boards off. We used to just have boards going all the way across. All the pipes were rotted and rusted, and he replaced them, got a new faucet in, and this thing, that right there is miraculous stuff that will enable me to use this as a work studio. I can wash the brushes. I can make my lunch. I can do all kinds of things with running water. I put most of the stuff into this back room just so I could have space to work out there. I'm slowly gonna get this place together. I spent early mornings painting and filming, then all day at Encinitas, then back to Cedros at night. Just hang on, Debbie. Work harder. Go back to videos. It's almost over. I was short-staffed and overworked, but determined to make more videos, even if it meant 14-hour days for the next year. I have a lot of projects that I am excited to start, but then the drudgery of work sets in and I procrastinate. My pastor spoke on this verse. If what you do is motivated by love, years can seem like days. I have to ask myself, am I motivated by love? Because not just running a shop is challenging, so is editing and many other things. Sometimes we think if circumstances change, we will be happy. But I have to ask myself if my heart also needs to change. The little house on Cedros became an escape. Then a miracle happened. The tenant in the back portion of my shop wanted to rent the entire space, and my landlord offered me an early out. 60 days and I would be free. 60 days to condense 3,000 square feet into 720 square feet. But also, I loved my new paint studio at Cedros, and I did not want to turn it back into a store again. We had a moving sale, and we sold so much stuff.
And it's the last weekend at Encinitas. I am not sad to be leaving this place. Not at all. We're rolling her up. First load to Cedros. This is the current state of the yard. It's colorful, but it is needing a lot. There it goes.
We had a moving sale and we sold so much stuff. We rented a truck and we hauled what was left 3 miles down the highway back home.
Who is it?
I'd like to say it's all happily ever after now, but the transition was also hard and we're still unpacking boxes. We have lots of videos to make and this is just the start. As you can see, I did find a way to keep my paint studio and still have a store. And I'm still processing the whole experience. I don't miss Encinitas, not even for a minute. But I do look back and question so many things about following dreams and what is truly important in life.
I want Jesus to walk with me.
I guess the question is, was all of this a big mistake? Or was it one of those trials we go through to strengthen our faith? If you ask me, both are true. I definitely could have avoided all of this, but like the clay in DIY paint, I try to take the mistakes and learn from them, and not harden my heart. Just as you can reactivate DIY paint with water, you can reactivate your life with love.
To walk with.
This armoire was inspired by vintage color chart images. I'll put a link to my Pinterest board in the description. I used paint that had thickened by leaving the lid off to create texture, smushing that paint into the surface, letting the paint dry, and then painting over the top. I painted the clay molds red before adding the gold wax to make the gold color pop. Check out previous videos that go more in depth on this process.
I love you, Madeline. I love you, Madeline.
To DIY paint in your area or to sell it in your store, click the link below. And to find any of the products used in this video, click the link below. Thanks for watching.
Hi, welcome to the vlog. I'm ready to...
moment I laid eyes on you, every breath was a gift. Felt like I was living in a dream. From the moment that I felt your kiss, there was something that stirred me like crazy.
Enjoy this video. Let me know what you think. Happy New Year, and I will see you when we get back from Texas. Thanks for watching.
I love you, Madeline. I love you, Madeline. I'm madly in love with you. I'd climb any mountain so high for you, baby. We'll be marching into heaven's gate.